today I want you to know that God brings hope. Hi, I'm Allison Wheeler, and I'm here to share my story with you. I am a Christian. I believe wholeheartedly in Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior. I was raised in a Christian home. Thank the Lord, I had parents who loved God and took me to church. I have been sheltered most of my life. I've always was a very happy, cheerful, bouncy optimist. I was a cheerleader in high school, the kid in the youth group that was the greeter when everybody arrived, and I was the one that said, "Hi, I'm Allison, welcome to church, it's so nice to meet you." Probably annoyingly so, but to say that, I want you to understand that that's where I was as my younger self, and over the last 6 years, I have struggled intensely with depression. And that's hard to say out loud. It's something that we as a society don't really talk about very much. And I'm here because I want to talk about it. I want to talk about it because I believe that God has such a heart for the brokenhearted, for those that are feeling like they are stuck in the darkness. And He wants to let you know that there is hope and that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. And I'm the one on the other end of the tunnel saying that I've made it. But my depression started in 2013 after I had my son, my second child. I thought it was just postpartum depression. I'm a nurse and I knew what that was, and I thought, this is not what the medical world says, don't take me. This is what I personally said in my mind. I thought I was going to snap out of it. I thought I would go through a season of it where my hormones were imbalanced and eventually I'd get over it. That's not what a physician would tell you, okay? But that's what I was told myself in the time. It started off really subtly. I didn't want to go out. I didn't feel happy. I didn't feel like myself. I felt like Eeyore at first, that I had this gloomy cloud that followed me everywhere that I went, and I just didn't feel like being happy came naturally. I had to work really hard to be the happy self that I had always been and that I felt like I needed to be around others. But progressively my depression got worse. I was exhausted all the time, as all new mommies are. So I told myself it was just the exhaustion. Once I slept better, I would feel better. But then I started to sleep more, where I didn't want to get out of bed, and where I wanted to just lay on the couch and let the kids play, and I would sleep and I would nap with the kids and I would go to bed early, and no matter how much sleep I got, I did not get better. I felt exhausted all the time. I felt heavy all the time. I felt like I didn't have this light inside of me like I used to have. I felt like I was dark inside, not just dark around me. I felt dark inside, and as a Christian, that was so hard to battle with. I felt that I was a really bad Christian, and I just didn't have enough faith to get better, or that I didn't have strong enough faith in God's goodness, and I wasn't thankful enough. I mean, I beat myself up time and time again for my depression, thinking it was my fault. Even though as a nurse I knew that people with true depression had a physical illness that needed to be treated, and I didn't see myself as that person. I was not someone with depression, but I was. I have since been diagnosed with major depressive disorder. I currently still take 2 medications to treat my depression. It took a really long time to find the right concoction of meds that work for me, but thank the Lord I have found them. And I just want to talk about the fact that before I had depression, I didn't know what depression was, truly. I could read it in a textbook, I could tell you the definition as a nurse, I could tell you what medications worked well for it, but I didn't really get those people. I guess I really thought that you just had to have enough positive thoughts and you would get over it, or it was like a feeling. You just felt sad, and eventually, like all feelings come and go, maybe people with depression would get over it. I thought that people who committed suicide were just awful people. I hate to admit that, but I never understood why anyone would take their life. It always seemed like such a selfish thing to me. But now being on the other side, one who has walked day in and day out, feeling dark inside and feeling this physical ache in my chest, feeling like there was an elephant on my chest and I was suffocating. I had days where I felt angry. I had days where I felt sad. I had days where I cried, and days where I felt completely numb, like I couldn't feel anything. I had days where I couldn't concentrate at all, and I'm a nurse, and I had to concentrate at work, and I had to concentrate at home with my children and give them my everything, and it became hard, so hard to do the things that came so naturally to me. It was hard to get up in the morning and get dressed. It was hard to keep my act together and look like I was calm and happy for my kids, and then to be calm and happy around friends was really hard. I isolated myself. I didn't go out. I didn't see friends. I lost a lot of friendships because I wasn't able to pretend anymore. When you can't pretend anymore, nobody really wants to be around a Debbie Downer. Granted, those friends aren't really the greatest kind of friends to have, right? The best of friends are ones that stick with us in the highs and the lows, and the Lord has shown me who those wonderful friends are in my life now. But it hurt to lose friends, but it was mostly my fault. I didn't reach out. I didn't want to go out. I said no to every invitation. I felt like I was drowning, really, truly. I felt like I was trying so hard. I was trying every medication. I was doing everything that I could to try and get better, and I just couldn't get better. I felt like I was treading water, and I'd been treading water in the middle of this dark and heavy storm where the waves were just crashing over me over and over again, and I felt like I just couldn't keep my head above water anymore. I remember telling my husband, I feel like I can't catch my breath. I feel like I'm drowning. And I will never forget when the daydreams started. The daydreams where I genuinely couldn't wait for the pain to stop. That the idea of taking my own life sounded actually good because I just wanted the ache to go away. It's hard to say that out loud as a strong believer who values life and values and I'm so grateful for all God had given me, but the pain was so intense, I just couldn't take it anymore. So I too have been there. If you are struggling with depression, if you are struggling and feel like you are alone and you're the only Christian or not Christian who's out there, you're not alone. You're not alone. We don't talk about it enough, and I'm here to say that depression is a serious illness. And being a nurse, working in the medical field, I truly thought that my depression was almost like a death sentence. That I was stuck coping with this awful, painful disease for the rest of my life. I'll never forget my very kind psychiatrist telling me that this was major depressive disorder was my diagnosis, and this was not in her words, but basically my interpretation, that this was my cross to bear, and that I would be on medications the rest of my life, and that this was my struggle. That is so not what God has to say. That is not what God has to say. She's a wonderful therapist, and she helps many people, and she helped me very, very much. But the Lord brought me hope when I had no hope, and I felt completely hopeless. And if you're feeling hopeless today, I want you to know that God brings hope. He wants to heal you. And yes, I am on the other side today, 6 years later. It is now January 2020 that I am filming this video. And I want to stand before you and say that I feel so well. And yes, I take my meds like I said, but the turning point for me was that hope. Holding on to hope when in the darkness you feel like you have no hope. So I want you to come on a journey with me. I'm not an expert by any means. I am not a therapist. I don't have a master's degree. I have my bachelor's degree in nursing, but I am not a mental health expert. But God has shown me some amazing things, and He has taught me how to find healing. And it is all by the power of His Holy Spirit and by absolutely nothing that I have done right or that I figured out right, but that He has showed me. And I believe He wants to reach out His arms to you today, those of you that are suffering, and say, here's how you can get well. Here is how you can get well. And if you have family members or loved ones that are struggling and you don't know how to help them, I want to help you understand just a glimpse of what they feel and what they're going through and what just might be some steps that they can take to get well. The verses that I started to cling to for hope, I just wanted to read to you. In the book of John, Jesus said in chapter 16, verse 33, He said, I have told you these things so that in me you may have peace. In this world you will have trouble, but take heart. I have overcome the world. And I felt like I was stuck in this fact that, yeah, the world, I'm stuck in it, and there's trouble. And my trouble is to deal with depression. But Jesus didn't end His sentence there. He said, no, take heart. I've overcome the world. And He also said, recorded in John chapter 10, verse 10, He says, the thief comes only to steal, kill, and destroy. But Jesus said, I have come that you may have life and have life to the full. The thief came and he tried so hard to steal my life, to steal my life. It is an absolute miracle that I am standing here today. He came to try and kill and destroy me and my family with my depression. But Jesus came. Jesus came into the picture. And He said, I came that you may have life and have life to the full. And my depression, I did not believe that I was allowed to have life to the full. But I had to be like a child who had to say, okay, Lord, I'm going to take you at your word, and I'm going to hold on to it with all tenacity that I can and use it as my life vest in the middle of the storm. That yes, Lord, you want to give me life and life to the full. And He wants to give you life to the full. So come with me on a journey to find your hope, the hope that comes only through Jesus Christ. Hope that you can get better. So I don't have it all figured out, but let's go on a journey together.